So I finally sat down after presenting my new design and avoided eye contact at all cost with one of the stakeholders in the room, a guy called Dave. You see, I just knew he was going to have a problem with the design I just presented. In earlier discussions with Dave, he'd gone on a lot about how users didn't like to scroll. Unfortunately, I just presented a design that required, well, quite a lot of scrolling really. I just hoped like hell he'd be so impressed with the design that he wouldn't bring it up. Unsurprisingly, it was the first comment made, and it set the tone for the rest of the discussions, with everybody chipping in with their various criticisms. We've all experienced similar things before, haven't we? Whether over a design, a piece of information architecture, some copy that we've written, or indeed any other aspect of our job. Whether we're an external supplier or a member of an in-house team, we often know what people are going to say about our work before they say it. We know before they even open their mouths. Yet we hope like hell that our clients or colleagues just won't bring up that particular thing. And that's the wrong approach. If you want to get approval for your work, you need to preempt these kinds of predictable issues head on, not just pray that nobody mentions it. And the reason for this is, well, simple psychology. As soon as Dave had expressed his problem with scrolling to the group, he'd taken a position that he couldn't back down from. He wouldn't want to lose face in front of his colleagues, and so he wouldn't back down from that position. Nobody likes to lose face, do they? With a convincing enough argument, I might have been able to convince some of the other people in the room, but I'd have done nothing but isolate Dave, and he would have gone away humiliated and angry at me. People don't like to admit that they're wrong, let alone to be proved that they're wrong in front of a group of people. But what if I'd been the one to bring up the issue of scrolling before Dave got a chance to mention it? What if I recognised that some people in the room might have a concern with it, and so I brought it up and I explained in detail my reasoning for it? Well, now Dave has a choice. Dave can either speak up or he can choose to hold his tongue. And if I'm convincing enough, he has the option to say nothing and so wouldn't lose face. It's also important to remember that people don't like to ask stupid or predictable questions. If I was to raise the issue myself, I turn his insightful criticism into my design into, well, stating the obvious really, raising something that was predictable. He no longer looks clever and is actually in danger of losing face because he's just talking about the obvious. This increases the chance that he may choose to stay silent. So never avoid predictable issues in the hopes that they won't get raised. Always deal with them before someone else brings them up. Of course, it would have been even better if I'd managed to deal with the issue when I had my initial conversation with Dave. But once again, I'd mishandled things. I'd allowed the conversation to turn into a confrontation. He'd made some comment about scrolling and I immediately told him he was wrong, and so he became defensive and I found myself in a kind of argument really. What I should have done is ask why he believed that. I should have taken his concerns seriously and asked lots of questions. I should have really listened to him. I should have gently expressed my own concerns and discussed with him ways that those might be overcome. This may reduce the chance of him even raising the issue in the meeting. But I would have also had the opportunity to use that previous discussion as ammo. I could have said that Dave raised a good point before this particular meeting when we discussed scrolling previously, that we talked about it in depth and he provided a lot of food for thought on the issue. But after some careful consideration, I felt that the benefits of scrolling outweighed the drawbacks that Dave had mentioned. And I could then go on and explain why. Now, do you see what I did there? I built Dave up in the eyes of the group by saying that he'd raised some good issues, and I'd positioned him as an ally that I'd worked on the design with. I made it clear that I'd listened to him and valued his thoughts, but I also positioned him as a key contributor in the design that we're now looking at. Now that makes it a lot harder for Dave to pull it apart. After all, according to me, he'd helped shape it. I work with a lot of organisations full of people like Dave, and they're not bad people. They just want you to listen to them and include them in the process. Yet too often we shut them out or dismiss them as ill-informed. The problem is that we spend too much of our time learning the latest CSS framework or JavaScript library that we fail to hone our skills in these softer areas, these, interpersonal skills. And that has to change. Otherwise, we're going to find that people are frustrated with our efforts and the work that we produce. That, or you're going to have to hire somebody like me to do that kind of persuading for you. And you don't want to have to resort to that.